cuerpo presente de mi madre y en la iglesia. Sentí lo que lloraban mis hijos, sentí lo que lloraban mis hermanas. Hasta sentí lo que el cajón metían al lugar donde mi madre estaba siendo enterrada. O sea, he escuchado todo por teléfono porque eso es lo que yo quería. Escuché la misa de cuerpo presente que se hace en mi país. Cuando la llevaron al cementerio, pedí a mi hijo que el teléfono acercara a mi madre. Que yo me pueda despedir por teléfono.
Das war sehr, sehr schwierig. Und es gibt ganz viele Sandpapierfrauen, die seit 15 Jahren, 20 Jahren haben ihre Familie nie mehr gesehen. Sie konnten nicht reisen.
I said to his dad, can you please drop me over to the nursing home? Drive me there. I'm ready to have the baby. He said, today is my last working day and I have to have a drink with the boys. I have never forgotten those words. As long as I live, I would never forget it. And that morning, he jumped in his car and he drove off. And I just waited, I was having so much pain and I started pressing on my stomach and I can feel the baby coming. The baby came all the way out and I had no help. And the one thing I didn't know is that I used to read a lot of books and I used to look at a lot of movies like that. And one thing I remembered is that after the baby comes is the placenta, the afterbirth. So I got up, I got a towel, I pad myself with it, and I went to the kitchen and I boiled the thread and I boiled the scissors and I went back to the baby and I prayed so hard. I prayed so hard and I measured the nipple string with my finger and I cut it. I tied it first and I cut it. And I sat there with that baby and that's the only time I felt scared. After I cut that nipple string, I don't know if my baby would live or not. I was just doing it on. So that alone could tell you what I've been through, waiting 2 years that I left him with my sister to get him to New York with me. Oh, I was just calling to see how you're doing. I guess you're not there. I'll call you back later. I would have looked for any avenue that would allow me to have a better life. So when I took off and I left Trinidad to come to the US, only thing I was thinking is a better life for my son and I.
गाँव का नाम ढाका से 2 घंटे की। मैं जब 14 साल के थे मैं स्कूल में पढ़ती थी। मेरे पापा शरीर ठीक नहीं है, मुझे स्कूल पे नहीं जाना, मुझे काम करना।
We have a passport act which says very clearly no one is allowed to hold your passport except yourself or your diplomatic mission concerned or the courts if there is a case.
Malaysia tak ada pegang tapi saya nampak dalam beg lah. Angkat tak bagi. Tu saya punya majikan cakap saya bagi sekarang semua duit sampai tiket sampai semua lah. Nanti ibu datang kerja nanti saya ambil balik lah ibu punya duit. Saya mula-mula datang suami istri dengan 2 anak lah. Saya tengok sayang diorang banyak sayang. Laki tu saya punya majikan tu bangla sama saya lah. Dia kawin orang Malaysia lah.
When she came to work, there were 2 children. And in the course of the 2 years, they had 2 more children. And that was the infants and the baby that she was taking care of.
Dia orang cakap saya tak ada tukar pempas. Diorang punya anak tu sudah merah-merah, saya tak tahu kenapa. Tapi saya tukar, saya malam pun saya 2 kali tukar. Siram diorang, laki pegang, lepas tu perempuan kasih selalu kasih tarik, dituang lah.
Tuang di bawah. Air panas yang baru masak.
Baru diorang masak tuang bawah. Ada banyak kali diorang baju koyak-koyak, ada gambar, diorang bikin video. Diorang cakap sama saya lah, kalau kamu tak ada cakap, saya apa yang saya suruh tak ada cakap, lepas tu saya nanti masuk dalam internet. You punya mama bapa family malu lah, satu kampung. Ada 2-3 kali ada diorang cili blender, kasih badan saya lah penuh, semua badan. Bawa pun ada sini, kasih gosok dia. Lepas tu lagi ada lain hari diorang bagi saya makan cili. Saya tak ada makan lagi, pukul dia. Pukul, saya pun makan cili, muntah balik, cakap suruh muntah makan lagi. Kalau tak ada makan, pukul, lepas tu saya muntah pun masuk lagi sekali lah.
Fue más o menos a mediodía, cuando yo estuve en el tren, ya retornando de mi trabajo. Y sentí que caminaban uno por delante y otro por detrás, como se acostumbra a controlar. Y yo saqué el billete. Cuando controlan el billete de medio precio, miran la foto y te miran a ti. Y bueno, era obvio que reconocieron que la foto no era mía. Y más nada, luego me metieron al coche de policía, me bajaron la cabeza. En ese momento me venían las imágenes de mis hijos, en ese momento se me caía todo. Es algo como que se te sube todo a la garganta, como que tienes ganas de gritar, llorar, hacer muchas cosas. En ese momento se me venía todo encima. Realmente no sé cómo explicarlo, pero... Yo soy una persona que peleó mucho con Diosito. Peleó muchísimo. Yo grito, ¿será posible? Diosito, digo, si tú estás haciendo algo conmigo, está bien, lo acepto humildemente, pero por favor te ruego, consérvalos a mis hijos buenos, honestos, que no se metan en cosas que después tengan que lamentar. Aló, Melody.
Mami.
¿Me puedes ver?
Mami.
¿Me puedes?
¿Sí?
No te veo, hijita, está solamente la foto.
Sí, ahora sí.
Ahora sí te veo, hija, aunque un poco borroso, pero te veo. Paulita, ¿estás ahí? Qué vagas. ¿Qué están haciendo en camita? A ver.
Mire, yo sé que mi mamá ha sido deportada 2 veces. Mi mamá va a contar esto, que cómo ha sido deportada, cómo ha sido arrestada, cuándo ha llegado allá, tal vez si has sufrido de hambre o no. Porque aquí mucha gente piensa que irse al extranjero de ilegal es ir a conseguir plata y volver con un montón de plata. No es así. Y mi mamá está contando lo que en realidad ella ha pasado. Va a ayudar a bastante gente para darse cuenta, un poquito abrir y decirles que no es así en realidad, que también yendo a otro país, no solamente en el tuyo, también recibes becaria.
Cuando yo partí, Manuel tenía 9 años, Polita 11, Melody iba a cumplir, tenía 14 para entonces, y Oliver iba a cumplir 20 años Oliver, o sea que tenía 19 años en esa fecha.
¿Lo conozcan?
Ay, Manuel, ¿dónde está Manuel? ¡Oh, hijo hermoso! ¡Oh, hijito bello! Sí, todo bien, hijo.
Entonces esa presión que generaba mi mamá hacia mí era un poco tensa, ¿no? Era un poco difícil. Y madurar a un niño a los 14, 15 años es algo difícil. Porque generalmente a los 15 años un niño está preocupado por una pelota, ir a jugar, volver, hacer las tareas, qué sé yo. Pero a veces yo tenía que asumir unas cuantas responsabilidades más que, si bien me han quitado un poco de infancia, el hecho de que mi madre sea ausente hacía que mi padre se vuelva mucho, o se torne mucho más agresivo, beba mucho más, entonces la responsabilidad que caía sobre mí.
Un día tuve el valor de dejarlos para un futuro mejor de ellos. Y también tendré el mismo valor de decirles: tienen alas, vuelen, hagan su nido, sean ustedes. Lo único que quiero es que sean felices.
The New York domestic workers were the first ones to pass the bill in the state of New York. We have about 15 countries already ratified the bill. I was on the board of directors. I sat on the board of directors for Domestic Workers United. I was an ambassador organizing ladies and domestic workers outside. While we were organizing, we needed a babysitter in the Park Slope area to do an interview. And she was, I called her and she was very timid about doing it. But for some reason, I have a convincing way with them. Okay, this is our stop. Good. Is the inside one locked as well?
Yeah,
You know, this is my biggest enemy. Sit. One of the things I have to change in my life is the fact that I have to say, when people ask me, what can I do for you, I have to say it. I really don't, because I'm not in need of anything. All I need is the people that I show respect to people, and I want them to respect me too. Happy, what's a happy song? You know that happy song?
Right.
I can't sing it now.
Yeah.
Well, Pharrell, happy song? That's me. I'm the happy person. If I had a choice, I would stay in my country.
I would.
I would have then, not now.
Yeah, not now. I would have. I'm here 25 years now.
All right, 26 years to me, and then I would have stayed there.
Yeah.
But I would not stay there now.
But I wouldn't stay. That's right.
My mother had 2 children out of wedlock. So we were considered bastard children because we were not born in wedlock. And that was the understanding throughout Trinidad as to who a bastard is.
Yeah.
So when she said to me, wait till you have bastard kids, it's like I knew that I'm not going to have any kids and ever call them bastard. So my whole idea of changing how parents speak to children, looking at her, I was determined to change that. I didn't want any of them to ever speak to my child. Don't talk to my child. I would raise my child myself. I knew when I left Trinidad that there'll be changes. I knew when I left Trinidad I would not get an accounting job when I get here. I looked into all that. I'm a city girl. It's like, hey, you're going to New York. One of my problems is that I always want to be respected, because I was always a fighter. I felt being treated in a humane way was more important to me than anything else. I have always been an outspoken person with really no fear. So I would tell the family I'm working with that they're not treating me right. I think it's a privilege to raise someone else's child, to be a part of their life and to be able to share and give love. I can see it like that now, not then. Then it was the most painful thing for me. So when I go into their homes and I live in their house and I'm loving their kids and they're treating me badly, there was a lot of anger.
Lepas tu ikat mulut, tolak katil, tu laki duduk atas sini, macam ni duduk, dia pegang dua kaki saya angkatlah macam ni, angkatlah. Lepas tu perempuan berdiri dekat bawah katil, dia cucuk kayu lah, masuk tu perempuan.
And they used this bamboo stick, both husband and wife, one stick each, and they shoved it up her anus and simultaneously shoved it up her vagina. And they did this like on and on and on. They kept doing it.
Lepas tu tak tahu lagi mana tempat berak kencing, tak tahu lagi. Dua sudah satu lah, tak tahu.
She knew at that point that if she did not leave this house, she would die in the hands of these employers.
Bila saya bangun, saya tengok banyak darah dekat tilam lah. Lepas tu dia orang suruh lah badan darah kan, suruh koyak moyak semua ada darah. Dia orang suruh lah kemas, masuk tandas.
The whole fear has been placed on them, and the fear of them constantly being told, you don't have a passport, you'll be arrested. You leave this house, you'll be arrested by the immigration, be arrested by the police, and you will be sent to the detention center where it's terrible, you'll suffer.
Pakai pampas sebab saya banyak darah keluar, lepas tu berak pun saya tak rasa keluar, saya pun tak tahu.
And even with these diapers, blood was trickling down her thighs. And she managed to meet a good Samaritan who took her to the hospital. Now, the extent of her injuries was so severe that she was hospitalized for 3 whole months.
Dekat hospital pun dia orang buka ada. Dia orang tengok semua ala perut, tengok bawah, semua tengok. Dia orang tengok dia orang tak tahu, dia orang macam rasa sedih, dia orang cakap.
She underwent 3 major operations. One was on her stomach, her vagina, and she said the third was they had to operate on her ears because she said she was beaten constantly and punched.
Saya pun tak ada fikir, saya cuba kalau mati pun tak apa, saya tak mau lagi.
There was a time when just before he turned 16, there were a few friends who would call him out in the afternoon to come and hang out, and they were like hanging out on the street corner. And I had a friend who worked late at night, and he drove around the block and he saw him, and he took him and he put him in his car, and he said, "Come on, let me take you home. Your mother's worried about you." And my son came up screaming, "Don't have anybody touch me. He's not my father. Don't have him touch me. I don't like nobody." And that same night, the boys on the corner were arrested. The boys that he was hanging out with on the corner, they were arrested that night. And you know what we have learned since then? And those were his buddies. They were all deported. That's as close as he came to being deported himself, because the two of us would have been sent home. He was a minor, and I'm his mother, and I'm here undocumented. They would have packed the two of us home. Yeah.
And did he understand that?
Oh, he understand that. Oh, he understood. I think that was a big lesson for him, that after that, he would not go out the street and hang out at all. Yeah. Okay, 525. I stayed undocumented for 22 years. So I didn't get to go home to my country for 22 years. So this year is 4 years since I've gone every year. I just go home anytime I feel, and I'm online every second, and if I see $158 one way, I'm gone. Every day without my son was hard. Every night without my son was dark. You know, when he journeyed to this place, it was the best time in my life. I didn't think about the challenges that I'd be faced with. I didn't think about anything else. All I knew is that I had my child with me and we would make it somehow. I have mixed feelings about liberty. I just know liberty is a female, Lady Liberty. And the strength that I believe that we have as females, it does make me feel free. You know, I feel free as an activist, I feel free. I feel free when I think about the ancestors, when I read the history of the US. So I really do feel free.
Bueno, me recuerda cuando entré por una frontera de Italia hacia Suiza. Sí, y ahí me estaba esperando la suiza. Ella organizó por mí, se arriesgó por mí. Estaba muy nerviosa, demasiado nerviosa, pero ella me decía, mira, tú no tengas miedo, que yo conozco muy bien esta zona. A mí me gustan las montañas, voy a escalar, yo esquío, camino. En mi corazón estaba de que yo debía luchar por un futuro mejor de mis hijos. Yo debía trabajar, debía hacer algo por mis hijos. Eso fue la prioridad para mí. Son mis hijos, lo ha sido y siempre serán. Yo le digo es que no creo que esté en Suiza. ¿Por qué? Porque no veo vacas. Y ella empezó a reír muchísimo, muchísimo. Y dijo, ya verás.
Cuando yo me iba a despedir, me puse de rodillas y le dije, mamá, bendíceme. Me dijo, hija, gracias por venir. Eres una gran madre. Retorna, trabaja, haz que tus hijos sean profesionales. Lastimosamente yo no pude hacer, no tuve el valor lo que tú hiciste de salir a otro país. Ya por tus hijos, saca adelante a tus hijos, no importa nada. Y es que ella me dio mucha fuerza, me bendició y es así como yo partí.
Oliver es su último año de especialidad. Él es médico. Melody, en 2 años y medio o 3 años terminará su carrera de odontología. Paulita es maestra de niños discapacitados. Cada quien buscó su camino, su carrera.
perempuan punya mak datang dengan Adira datang. Lepas tu tak tahu dia telefon ambil dia punya handphone, dia call tu saya punya majikan, dia bagi saya pun tak tahu, saya pegang.
These employers are wealthy and rich, and many of them are affluent society members. So you will believe employer and not the foreign worker who's in your soil.
Dia cakap, kau ingat saya masuk dalam penjara kah? Saya sudah keluar, saya ada duit, saya boleh bikin semua. Saya boleh apa-apa boleh bikin. Saya ada banyak duit. Sekarang kau tak payah kes. Kalau kamu kes pun tak boleh buat apa-apa. Saya kasih semua halau. Saya boleh semua bikin lah. Najrul chairman ada Bangladesh, dia ada datang Malaysia. Mama bapa saya cakap sama dia lah, kalau kamu pergi, kamu jumpa lah anak saya, tengok macam mana. Lepas tu jumpa tu dia datang hospital lah. Dia tanya sama doktor bawa lah dia ke saya punya tempat. Lepas tu dia cakap saya lah. Saya pun cakap sama dia ini macam, semua cakap lah. Lepas tu dia pun cakap tak payah kes, kasih tutup kes.
They wanted to quash the whole case, and the only way was to force her to withdraw the case.
Polis datang ada dekat sini tenangan itu office, ada saya cakap kakak itu pun ada, kakak Indonesia pun ada cakap. Saya dengan dia sama-sama cakap. Lepas tu polis sudah balik. Lepas tu 14 hari ke berapa di saya sini duduk. Polis bawa saya itu shelter lain lah. Lain hari kakak Mimi panggil saya office. Lepas tu panggil office, dia bagi satu kertas kosong, satu kertas ada tulisan. Dia cakap sama saya ini signature lah.
I'll throw the same thing to the judge who accepted her withdrawal, because when we checked with the court said that she has withdrawn her case. Right? And I think that's really an injustice. You allow a child who has undergone such torture and accept that she's withdrawing the case.
तब मैंने सोचा मेरे लिए अच्छा है, मैं चाहूँगी तो काम करूँगी, मैं कुछ पैसे दूँगी मामा पापा, ओके। पर अब मेरे मामा पापा ने, मेरे फैमिली ने बोला नहीं आने के लिए, उन सब लोगों ने मना किया। मैंने कहा मुझे जाना है, मुझे भी हेल्प करना है मेरी बहन की तरह। मैं आई हूँ। Boleh, mesti boleh. Tapi nanti saya mau tolong dulu lah. Bagi duit dulu 3 tahun, satu duit pun saya tak ada bagi. Saya mesti mau tolong mah.